Formula 1 trophies have been getting a lot of attention. The Chinese trophy had sensors which light up when elevated above the head. The Canadian Grand Prix trophy used AI in its creation. We even saw a trophy that lights up in your nationality's colours when you kiss it. And the British Grand Prix will also be featuring a brand new trophy design, but this is something very special. This is the workshop for Carbon Art, who are making this year's trophy for the British Grand Prix, which uses actual parts from a Formula 1 car. So in this video, you'll first see how it's first designed, how carbon fiber art is produced, and then how it's all put together.
My name's Alistair Gibson. I'm a carbon fiber sculptor. What we do is try and show a link between the natural world and modern engineering. I managed to get on the Benetton team in 1995. I was the #1 mechanic. I became the chief mechanic, VAR, when that started. And then I decided to become a sculptor and using carbon fiber as my medium. I've been doing that for longer than I've been doing Formula 1 now. So what I usually do, let's say I'm doing the piranha, get pictures of piranhas, block of wood. I'll carve it until I'm sort of 95% happy that I've created the look I was looking for. From that, I'll put it on the computer just to put the position of the eyes, the position of the gills, the look of the mouth, how big the teeth need to be, and then from there make a carbon fiber mold and then start making the pieces. So it is quite a big, to make a new sculpture is quite a big journey. About 3 years ago, I did the World Championship trophy for SailGP. I felt after doing that, the next challenge would be to try and do a Grand Prix trophy. I did some trophies for Motorsport UK. One of the trophies was given to Ross Brawn. You know, he came to me and said, "Oh, this is a really nice trophy," and all of that. And then I asked him, so if I wanted to make a trophy for the Grand Prix, how would you go about it? And then I got an email that said, "You're interested to do the trophies?" And then the Silverstone people came around and it sort of started like that.
The first part of the process for the trophy was to get the initial concept approved, along with the drawings and 3D models to visually show the Silverstone organisers what the final result could be, with the overall idea of it being a carbon art take on a traditional podium bouquet of flowers.
And I looked in the 20s and 30s, they didn't give any trophies away, not even the laurel wreaths that they put on. Before then, they used to give bouquets of flowers. So I thought, that would be a good place to start. So the flaps being leaves, and the central piece, the turbocharger impeller, being sort of the middle of the flower, so to speak.
With the concept approved, the final result would be a trophy designed using 44 items, with many components being old recycled parts from Formula 1 cars, or being recreated in carbon fiber.
Basically, we have an exploded view here with all the numbers, and this is the bill of materials here. So this is what we need to make the sculpture. It's changed a little bit, like the ID plate now is integral into the ID ring. So starting from the bottom, we've got the underfloor plank. These are quite good because there's no two are the same. Big marks on there from when the pieces of tire are basically crushed between the circuit and the car. A third of the way up is a disc bell, beautifully engineered aluminium, hard anodized piece. The nice thing was it was exactly the circle diameter. I wanted to get 10 flaps to go all the way around with a little bit of a gap into all the flaps. And then I found a lot that were absolutely, overheated and the anodizing had turned into a different color. But I managed to find 4 that were just beautiful and really lovely, sort of a lovely sort of green. These little bits, the bobbins that fit onto the disc bell, they're all individual angles and shapes, because the flaps, although they look like they just come out and go straight and fold out, they've got a lot of different angles to them, and we had to make them bespoke. At the top of the central post, which is a carbon fiber post wrapped in the Union flag, is impeller from the cold side of the turbo. When I got these, the leading edges were very sharp, almost like scalpel blades. So I just sat down in front of the TV with a big box on my lap, and I just broke all the edges. I vapor matte blasted them, and I really wanted to keep I don't know if you can see it, I really wanted to keep the little veins or the little machining striations. I just thought that was a really nice thing to keep. And this is a really high-end sort of titanium Grand Prix bolt that I inserted there. These little marks on there are balancing marks from when they balanced the impeller. And then I attached this to a carbon fiber rod. And all the other auxiliary parts, like the aluminium parts, we machined machined. This is what we call the ID ring, machined from aluminium. So this was polished, and then we engraved this with a laser engraver. Formula One Qatar Airlines British Grand Prix 2024. And then we used crackling paint to put in there because it basically doesn't shine through too much. It doesn't sort of overpower. It sort of looks deeper than it really is.
The last section of the design process was adapting the front wing flaps. These are the thinnest sections of the front wing. However, these needed to be modified in length as the trophies would be different sizes depending on the finishing position. This is where the 3D printing prototype came into action so that the team could see what they needed to modify before moving on to the carbon fiber process.
So the third place trophy, we've got a bronze impeller, and then on the flaps, got the third place position drivers also in a bronze transfer, and then clear lacquered over them. We decided to put the names on just to bring a little bit of heritage. You know, I've seen a lot of trophies in cabinets. Once you've taken in the shape and once you've looked at the idea of the trophy, there's not really that much more entertainment realistically. Where hopefully with my trophy, it will capture for you at least 15 minutes and maybe bring back a memory. You know, Nigel Mansell won on that day, or Emerson Fittipaldi or somebody just pipped him to the line and you were standing, you know, at Woodcote at the line or something like that. So we decided to put all the first place, the winners from 1950 till last year. So those are gold on the flaps. Second place is silver decals. Third place is bronze, and then graphite grey for the constructors. So in 1950, Nino Farina won the first World Championship Grand Prix. So what we're going to try and do, and it's yet to be confirmed, when the cars cross the line, I can pull out my big sticker chart and I put his name under 2024. The reason why I want to do this is basically it's cool, and I don't think any other trophy has been basically presented to the winner with his name on. The second thing, when you look at Wimbledon or any other big major sporting event, that the engraver is there with his little hammer and chisel and he's doing that. And obviously, I would like to be there putting the sticker on.
Now that Al has the fully 3D printed model, he can refine the positioning of the bobbins which hold the carbon fiber flaps in place. As he only has a limited amount of components from the Formula One car, it was vital to make sure every angle and piece fitted perfectly, as once it's all glued together, it wouldn't be possible to adjust.
This is where they come out of the machine base. When we printed them, they fitted in there, which actually gave us confidence that they were going to fit in. And it also gave us confidence that we could slide the outside ring around, and our join where we lengthened them was sort of covered. Having done a 3D printed version first really helped us. And also just designing things like this. So this is just a little bit of leather with Velcro on, and once we're happy, when we're gluing it all together, it sort of goes around there and holds them in position. On the internal side, we've also got a jig that basically will keep the spacing between the flaps. That'll slide over our cardboard tube, and that'll just keep the spacing correct.
So the last step before the trophy is put together is to make the final carbon fiber flaps to replace the 3D printed versions. And this process is similar to what Formula One teams do when they're creating their own carbon fiber parts. The way that it works is that you start with a pre-preg carbon fiber, which is the material woven into each other along with a resin that hasn't really cured yet. So to make sure it doesn't harden, it's needing to be kept cold. Then, when it's ready to be worked on, this can be cut and pushed into a mold. And as the resin comes up to room temperature and the curing process begins to harden the material, this is when it begins to stick more into its final form, and the other side of the mold can be added on. Then, to make sure the material sticks to the mold and have no air bubbles starting to form, is then added into an airtight bag which sucks out any of the remaining air inside.
So that puts 1 bar of pressure onto that surface. So we all live under 1 bar pressure.
This bag will be taken into an autoclave, which in simple terms is like a big oven, which will then heat cure the carbon fiber and also supply 7 bars of pressure, again to make sure it's truly stuck onto the mold shape.
Yeah, we got a bit. So this is the material in its raw state, which is basically extension. The reason why we had to put this up here as well is to get the whole thing lined up so we could put the extension on the bottom. So the resin is on the back. You can see the difference in texture. So if you had to put, the easiest way to do is put your finger on here, get it a little bit warm, and then it'll stick to the sticky side. So this is the side you need to put onto the mold.
After all the parts were created, it is then a simple case of putting it all together for the first, second, and third trophy, along with the constructors one too.
It's 100 millimeters higher than the second and third place trophy and the same size as the constructors trophy. Turbocharger impeller, and this is from the cold side of the turbo, made from aluminium. And then if you look underneath, you can see the underfloor plank we spoke about, and then the transparency right through. It's quite light actually. Grab it, shake the hand of the recipient, and then hand it to him. You can also grab it here. This is quite an easy way to hold it and then present it like that. Hopefully, after I've just stuck the stickers on and the dignitaries that are going to present the trophies, maybe I can give them a quick lesson. We'll see.